This podcast contains graphic content. Listener caution is recommended. Specifically, today's episode of Choosing the Bear contains themes and discussion of violence, abuse, neglect, attempted murder, and child murder. Welcome to episode 2 of Choosing the Bear. Today we will be doing the case of the Philpott / Mick Philpott / giant piece of shit. So, episode 2, bitches.
Hooray!
We just did episode 1 with Banaz Mahmood and Honor Killing, and it wasn't
a fun time.
Yeah, I don't really have many words.
Yeah, it weren't ideal. So we're doing 2 episodes back to back today to sort of get into the groove of doing podcasts.
And we're going to get the layout, the
format.
order of proceedings.
Yeah, we're going to really try and fine tune this thing.
It is the 2nd of Jan 2025, and all last year I was set a challenge, and I watched the entire, I say that loosely, but with great pride, the entire MCU timeline within 1 year.
When you say you were set a challenge, you were the one that, it was your idea. We just sort of went, yeah, fine, here's what to do. That was all sort of you, though.
Yeah, because I'm normally the person who watches the same... Well, I used to, not no more. I'm a new woman. But I used to watch the same films and seasons of Housewives over and over again. But then I wanted something new and I wanted some action.
Then you found the MCU, and how did you find it in the end? Now you're technically all caught up. There are some things that you did skip, but overall, you know.
I do enjoy it, but like I had already watched what's the Spider-Man called where they all come back? I'd watched that. I'd watched Endgame in cinema. I'm glad I was there to witness that in a cinema. What else? I'd already watched maybe like Iron Man 1.
You've seen a fair few of them, but never like in the right order or really who was who and you know, the context of any of it.
Yeah.
It was more that.
It's more just like a casual watch. I never watched it like bearing in mind the timeline. But some series we watched in a movie format. She-Hulk was one that was quite memorable, I would say.
Awful edit, that's on me. I found an really awful edit and botched it. Probably botched She-Hulk because it's not a bad show.
Yeah, I think, I mean, now that I've finished it, I don't know if I would go back and watch that, but...
It's not the best, but it's not horrendous as everyone makes it out to be.
What I did watch, I did enjoy. And then I watched season 1 and season 2 of Daredevil.
Mm.
I fear people may kill me, but I really didn't enjoy them. It was quite a struggle for me to get through them.
It's a baffling take, it really is, but it's the best Marvel TV there ever is.
But I am going to rewatch them. I didn't watch season 3 because I really just couldn't do it anymore. I'm going to rewatch season 3 because the new series is out in March.
Yes, it is, and we're all very excited for it.
Daredevil Born Again.
Daredevil Born Again. What a nice little introduction to a true crime podcast by talking about fucking Marvel superheroes.
Well, yeah, it's nice and light-hearted.
Yeah, well, just before we do get into it though, how are you today?
I've had a full reset the past 2 days for the new year.
Lovely.
I've decluttered, I've cleaned my car, and I've made room for all my new shit. But I
nice little reset.
Yeah.
Nice.
What about you?
Literally the same thing. I put a big old wash on today.
And me.
Now I'm currently looking at it drying next to the radiator.
And today we're going to have reason number 2 of why I would choose the bear as we discuss the life that is Mick Philpott.
I'm ready. I'm excited.
Do you recognise the name?
Not a clue. Never heard of Mick Philpott in my life.
As I go on, you might remember him, but...
He sounds English. Is he a UK boy?
Yes, this is a English case. I think a lot of the case... no one knows because I haven't said it before, but this is the second case that we're recording, and I've already done 15 cases. So we're already I'm way ahead of everyone else.
We've got a backlog ready to go.
But the majority of cases I have done are English. I have a few. I have one Italian, and then the rest are American.
Let's go see Mick.
This is the story of Mick Philpott, and it all begins with Mick Philpott, who was born in December 1956 in Derbyshire, England. I couldn't find the exact date. I feel like the information is quite sparse on his earlier years, but don't worry, because we have a shit ton of information of the shit he gets up to in his later life.
Sick.
So in July 1978, Mick was 21 and attempted to murder his girlfriend of 2 years. So we're already off to a great start.
Right, okay.
He was also absent without leave from the army at this time. And their relationship began when Kim Hill was 15 and Mick was 19. So we're already a bit... No.
A fair few massive fucking red flags straight away from
Yes.
Mick. Yeah, Mick's really fucked it.
Yes. His attitude to women was described as controlling, violent, and manipulative. So again, another flag to count.
Yeah.
It's reported that Mick had shot Kim in the groin with a crossbow for wearing a dress he deemed to be too short. He also dislocated her knee with a sledgehammer when Kim was giving more attention to a baby that she'd been responsible for.
Okay, so straight off the bat, we got a fucking head case.
Yes.
Absolutely insecure fucking freak.
Yes. Mick once told Kim, quote, "If I can't have you, nobody is having you." And
Oh my God.
they're just, yeah, that's like, it's a threat without threatening, like a direct threat. It's an indirect threat, I think.
I don't know. I'd say it still is kind of like a direct threat, to be honest. Because you're putting a thought in the head being like, if I'm not with you, then no one will be. And if no one's with you, then you're dead.
Yeah, but it's not explicitly saying, I'm going to kill you.
No, yeah. It's in the guise of just, come on. But there's a lot worse to it.
Mick attempted to kill Kim after she sent him a letter saying that she was going to leave him. And a lot of this information, the information on like Googie Woogie was absolute shit. But then I found an interview that Kim did on This Morning, which gave me a lot of this information. So yeah, so in an interview on This Morn, Kim explained that her father was out of the house and Mick knew this as her dad worked routine night shifts. Mick then snuck into the house through the back and sat in their front room watching TV for about 2 hours.
Jesus.
He also rummaged through their drawers and got a 7-inch flip knife. Mick began stabbing Kim as she laid in bed, and Kim's mother came into Kim's room to try and protect her daughter when Mick stabbed her 11 times. So stabbed her mum 11 times for trying to protect her kid. After he stabbed her mum, Mick went back to Kim and began stabbing her again a total of 27 times. An ambulance was called. Mick was sitting at the bottom of the stairs as paramedics began treating Kim's mum. Mick said to one of the paramedics arriving to treat Kim, quote, "I wouldn't bother with the one upstairs. I've done a good job on her," and played with the knife.
What the fuck? Hang on.
Yep.
So, who called the paramedics again? Sorry.
I'm not sure.
Because there's no one else in the fucking house.
No, I don't know who called the paramedics, but an ambulance ended up coming.
Right. Oh my God.
It's how it's just like very blasé, like, oh yeah, I won't bother going upstairs, you know, I've stabbed her like 27 times. And as if they're going to be like, yeah, you know what, yeah. We'll just
Thanks, Mick. Yeah, thanks, Mick. Fuck me.
Kim had to be resuscitated twice in the back of the ambulance on the way to the hospital, and she suffered from collapsed lungs, a punctured bladder, kidney, and liver. So he literally, like, did not hold back. I mean...
But close to death.
Mick was trialed and was convicted of attempted murder on Kim and grievous bodily harm with intent against Kim's mum. He was sentenced to 7 years in prison in December. Yep. In December 1978, but was released after 3 years, 2 months.
On what? Good behaviour?
I mean, I don't know on like what terms.
Hang on. So, like, again, like we said in the last episode, but this one is just... What do you mean? He was sat at the bottom of the stairs, flipping the knife, making essentially jokes, being a fucking clown. And they give him 7 years.
Yes. For both. So for attempted murder and grievous bodily harm with intent. And grievous bodily harm with intent, I think, comes with like a minimum of 25 years. So how the fuck he got 7 for both, it, like, combined is just beyond me.
Like, I'm not clued up on the justice system, how what crimes constitute which length of
sentence.
Prison. Sentence. But I don't know. I feel like that. Surely, you'd assume safely that would, life. I don't know.
Yes.
Maybe I'm just being naive in that, but like, fuck that, man. He made jokes about it. Like, he's clearly not
Given a fuck.
sane. Yeah, yeah.
While serving his sentence, he would write to Kim explaining how he wanted to get married and how he knew that Kim was going to forgive him. And this is what really fucks me off. Like, why is there not someone in prison checking the letters before they leave? Because do they not think that that's harmful psychologically to the victim?
You'd assume so.
And also, you're like, well, you've just gone to prison, so I've finally got away from you, and now you're sending fucking letters.
Yeah, yeah. I guess they get sort of free will. I mean, this is also the 70s from now, right? So things aren't obviously.
So things aren't like how they are now.
Yeah,
But
I think we need to take that into account when discussing this one, because obviously we're back in the archaic times now.
however, this time we're going to 1986, where Philpott married Pamela Lomax, and together they had 3 children, 2 boys and 1 girl. Pamela said that Philpott was controlling and also physically abused her. Pamela was aware of Phil's past relationships, how those women were treated, and was too afraid to report the abuse to the police. And also, if she knew what he had done to Kim and her mum and seeing that he got 7 years, I can imagine that she felt incredibly discouraged going to the police.
Mm-hmm. Majorly. That's an awful thought as well. Feeling like there's no hope in the justice system, so
Yeah.
you're stuck, I guess.
Pamela prayed that he would move on to someone else, and then Philpott then met a 14-year-old girl named Heather Keogh in Nottinghamshire. Mick was 37 at the time.
I
So this
literally
man
was
has got
about
many
to ask.
fucking problems.
I was about to ask how old he was. 30, so she's what, 14? He's 37.
Yes. On Heather's 16th birthday, she ran away from her parents' house to move in with Philpott. Not long after moving in together, Heather would become pregnant and would end up having 2 boys together. However, Mick wasn't happy as he wanted a daughter. He would then beat Heather. Mick would also encourage his older sons from his previous marriage to be violent towards her, and Mick
Oh my
delivered the same
God.
threats that he did to Kim to Heather. So he's overall just a vile, predatory, pedophilic piece of shit.
Everything that could be wrong in a human being, he is sort of encapsulating in one body.
Yes.
Fuck. Also, are we calling him Mick or Phil?
Well, Mick Philpott. I call him Mick or Philpott. Mick received a conditional discharge in 1991. This is where an offender isn't sentenced for an offence unless another one is committed within a set time period. So, like,
Oh my God.
you don't have to go to prison if you don't commit another crime in X amount of years.
Like 6 months if you're fine.
Yeah,
Don't worry about it.
I don't know if it's like I don't know how long
Yeah.
the time span can go, but Mick received this discharge for headbutting a colleague.
Fuck.
So this man is just fucking unhinged.
He's just a brute. An absolute fucking brute.
In 2000, Mick met a 19-year-old single woman named Mairead Duffy, who had recently come out of an abusive relationship. Later, Mairead would describe Mick as, quote, her guardian angel.
Oh God.
Not long into their relationship, the two moved in together. However, in 2001, Mick began seeing someone else the same time he was dating Mairead. Lisa Willis was 16 at the time and was an orphan and single mother. Mick began dating Lisa, making her Mick's mistress. I feel like from now, if you know him, now is where you're going to start remembering.
I still don't remember anything, if I'm honest with you. I don't know if I know anything about this.
Well, buckle up then.
I'm locked in. I'm ready.
After dating Lisa for a year, so Lisa being the 16-year-old, he invited Lisa to move into his council house, which was bigger than her current property. And then for the non-UK girlies, a council house is a house built and managed by local authorities, i.e. councils, and rent is discounted usually for low-income families. Mairead agreed to Lisa moving in. However, in court it was stated that Mairead was hurt but Mick didn't care. It's reported that after Lisa had moved in with Mick, he began abusing her, attacking her with a piece of wood and accusing her about lying about the father of her baby.
Shit, man. You can imagine that he's a sort of bloke that just instills fear in all these people, so they feel like they just have to go along with everything he says.
Yeah.
God, man.
From July 2002, Mick was preventing Heather from seeing their children. On the 23rd of December 2002, Heather was granted legal custody of her and Mick's 2 children, and after receiving this news, Mick became violent and smashed the family's Christmas tree. Clearly, it's apparent that he has a temper, but like if you have children in that house as well and you're doing this shit, it just umps it to a level that's just so much worse.
Yeah, like he genuinely does not care.
Yeah.
The people around him aren't fucking thought in his head at all when he goes on these fucking rampages. He just needs to fucking do it as a fucking head case.
And it's all about me. Like it's all about the big number one.
Yeah, it always is though, isn't it? With these sort of people. No one else matters in their life.
In 2003, Phil and Mairead got married, and Lisa, Phil's mistress, was a bridesmaid at the wedding.
Oh my god.
I feel like there's a lot of names floating around, but like, no. Oh god, I'm saying Phil. Fuck. Philpott. So Mick Philpott got married to Mairead Duffy, and Lisa Willis is his mistress.
And she was a bridesmaid at the same wedding.
Yes.
What the fuck?
So Mick, as in previous relationships, was extremely controlling of Lisa and Mairead. The women ran the household, were looking after all the children, and obviously like all the daily things that come with a house. Lisa and Mairead also worked, and their wages as well as government benefits went straight into Mick's bank account, allowing him to control where the money would be spent.
Oh, it's terrifying, right? How these people can use words and manipulate and gaslight and all these sort of things to get what they need. It's genuinely a terrifying concept that people have that sort of, their brain works in that way where they only see ways to be like, if I do this can then happen, and then that benefits me in the long run, and then I get this, you know? But like that's such a terrifying concept that their brain is working in such a way.
Yeah, like naturally.
Yeah. They don't switch it on, it's just there.
Mick also didn't allow Lisa or Mairead to have a front door key to their own house. Witnesses describe the dynamics of their household, quote, Mick was the kingpin, no one else mattered. On at least 3 occasions, Mick asked Mairead for a divorce so that he could marry Lisa, and Mick still expected Mairead to remain in the house if his wishes were granted.
Oh my god, man.
He's just fucking. I just have no words.
So, but like this is the thing though. That's what I mean about their brains. These people, it sounds like it could be written like a bit on like in a TV show or some stuff like that. Like it's just terrifying that these people can exist and do exist.
The Philpott's lifestyle began gaining tabloid media attention in 2006 when Mick had requested a larger council house for him, his 2 partners, and 7 children. This was 4 children, Jade, John, Jack, and Jaden with Mairead, and 3 children with Lisa. Mairead's children attended St. George's Primary School, and the children's half-brother, Dwayne, attended St. Benedict Catholic School. Dwayne was Mairead's child from a previous relationship.
Oh god, there's a lot of like moving pieces to this now, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people going around. Okay.
As well as this, reports began to circulate about his previous relationship and attempted murder on Kim Hill. Other reports included that Lisa had recently given birth to a 4th child, with Mick being the father. It was also revealed that Lisa and Mairead were both pregnant and were due at the same time, March 2007.
Oh my god, that's terrifying.
I know. Mairead gave birth in March to Jaden Philpott. Also in 2007, Mick appeared on The Jeremy Kyle Show, a British tabloid talk show inspired by Jerry Springer with the aims of resolving personal problems relating to relationships, addiction, and sex.
I mean, first off, fuck the Jeremy Kyle Show, fuck that guy.
Yes.
Not it. Absolutely not it. But like, that's terrifying that this convicted criminal,
yeah,
who seems to be like notorious now with like this story, was on daytime TV, arguing, because that's what they fucking did with Jeremy Kyle, just argue and be horrible.
Dang it just get worse. Whilst appearing on the show, Mick tried to defend his lifestyle. The host, Jeremy Kyle, criticised his relationships. However, Mick responded by boasting about them, saying that he lived, quote, a great lifestyle.
No, I'm assuming these clips are still available.
I haven't looked at the actual videos, but you could, if you Google like Mick Philpott, Jeremy Kyle, like you can see like a screenshot of him on there.
But yeah, no, I guess they would have taken it down actually if this gets a lot worse. It would probably wouldn't want to be associated.
Even though the attention he received was negative, it was still attention. and this would lead to Mick featuring on another show, and it was Anne Widdecombe versus the benefits culture.
Oh, God. Also, she's a dick as well.
Yep, Anne Widdecombe is a former Conservative MP and used the TV show to broadcast failings in the UK's welfare system. Anne spent a week with him with the aims of convincing him to change his lifestyle. And with this, more details about Mick's lifestyle became public knowledge. A caravan was shown on their property. Mick explained that Mairead and Lisa would alternate in spending nights with him in the caravan. And in brackets, I've put, this just shows that like he wasn't there or gave a fuck about his kids. I mean, this is the first sign because it gets worse later. Because I think like, well, if you have 7 young children in the house, and they're going to have nightmares or be uncomfortable, like restless or like hard to get to sleep, and you're just in the caravan next door not giving a fuck.
Yeah. Again, yeah, like you say, it encapsulates and encompasses that he just don't care, man.
Yeah.
Why? How? This is a pissing off. Some people just don't deserve to be parents, and it makes you sad that there are people like that who can't have kids, who really want to, and probably are very deserving of having kids. And you got pricks like him who have kids.
And just don't give a fuck about them.
Yeah.
Anne found Mick 3 jobs. One was with a barrel making firm, but he failed to show up on the first day, leading to the job offer being revoked.
Of course.
Anne also said that Mick referred to his partners as bitch and noticed that none of the children seeked affection from him. I mean, there we go. There we go.
It says, it says everything, doesn't it?
And with them being like young children as well, like with, I think 4 of them being in primary school.
Yeah.
I mean, there you are then. In November 2011, 6 months before a fire broke out at the family home, Mick attended a court hearing regarding a road rage incident in which he'd punched another driver. He pled guilty to assault but denied dangerous driving charges, and I don't know what the outcome was of that.
It seems like he's sort of impressed by his like physicality and his brutality. Like how he pleads guilty to, I assaulted that man, but I weren't drinking driving. And then when he attacked Lisa, he was like bragging about that. So it seems to be a thing that he likes to sort of own and be like, that very sort of small man mindset of like, I did that.
On May 11th, 2012, at around 4 a.m, a fire broke out at the Philpott's home, 18 Victory Road. Mick and Mairead were sleeping downstairs with a family friend, Paul Mosley, and all of their children were upstairs. Mairead called 999, telling the operator that 6 of her children were still in the house. The children, Jade 10, John 9, Jack 7, Jesse 6, Jaden 5, and Dwayne 13. Mick was heard shouting, quote, "Help me, my babies are trapped inside." The fire caught the attention of neighbours. One neighbour, Jamie, described looking, quote, out the window and seeing a 1-foot high flame coming from the front door.
Oh my God.
Jamie then woke up his brother, Darren, explaining how there was a fire at the Philpott's house. And Darren said, quote, within a matter of minutes, the door was ablaze, smoke coming right out of the windows. Jamie could see a female who was dressed standing outside of the house, and Jamie asked her, "Where's Mick?" Mairead said that he was in the house with the kids. Other neighbours made attempts to get into the house to save the children. In an interview, Jamie said, "I ran next door because there was a caravan. He jumped over and said he seen Mick and Mairead, quote, in the back garden. I didn't think at the time, I just thought there's kids in there," end quote. Mick said, quote, "They're all in the back bedroom." Jamie also said that Mick wasn't helping or attempting to save his children from the fire. Jamie entered the house through the conservatory. He said, quote, "The more I was going in, the more I was going back. It was like putting your mouth over a car exhaust." I mean, that description is just absolutely horrific.
Oh my God. I don't know if this is the same case or not, but it's starting to maybe ring a bell with the house fire. Maybe I do know what this is, but I don't know yet.
I mean, it might. I wouldn't be surprised if it don't, because it was like a long time ago, but...
No, the fire's starting to ring a bell.
Jamie also said when he held Mick, it was like, quote, holding a brick wall. I mean, good God.
Jesus.
And also, like, your kids are in there with a fucking fire, and you're just like...
God, you're getting like a whole psych evaluation on the guy from just these quotes. You can really like picture who he is.
Later saying, quote, "That son of a bitch destroyed my life, destroyed it. That little girl was right there near the window and I couldn't touch her, couldn't lay my hand off on her. I'm so glad they weren't screaming. Oh, just that is like horrific. Like the
Dark.
trauma
Yeah.
on like the neighbours and then also like the emergency services, like when they arrive.
Mm.
Despite the efforts of the neighbours, 5 children died at the scene from smoke inhalation, and Jamie described the scene as the children were being brought out the house. Quote, two on one trolley, the last one, Dwayne, on the pavement for 10 minutes. They were trying to pump life into him.
Yeah, I think I remember this case now. I remember this on the news. Shit.
Firefighters and police began investigating the fire, suspecting it was intentionally set. Early on in their investigation, police confirmed that the fire had started at the front door, and police suspected Lisa Willis, so the mistress,
Mm.
Mick's mistress, of starting the fire and was arrested, and her children were subsequently put into care. However, she had an alibi and was quickly released without charge. Dwayne was transferred to Birmingham Hospital to receive further treatment. Mick didn't go, as he had a court appearance in the morning instead. Mairead's dad, Jimmy, said that Mick, quote, near enough had to be forced in the car to go to Birmingham.
Oh my God.
It was then reported that Dwayne's condition had, quote, severely deteriorated and was only being kept alive by a life support machine. Dwayne, Mairead's son from a previous marriage, died in hospital on the 14th of May, 3 days after the fire. While the house was being examined and investigated, Mick and Mairead were placed into a hotel near Derby Hospital, as that's where the bodies of the children were being taken. Rumours began circulating that Mick was going to communities and places asking for money, and people ended up giving him thousands of pounds, rallying around him to support him, which you would.
Yeah, but fuck, man, like he's doing like most crimes on the planet.
And
He's doing one of each.
Like, I don't know if it's like well-known public knowledge of like the shit he's done before.
Oh, well, yeah, no, but obviously now that is knowledge and we can look back in retrospect.
Yeah.
He's committing like literally one of everything.
Mick also went to a local supermarket asking for clothes. However, he somehow had the audacity to turn some down as he deemed they weren't good enough for him.
Oh my God.
Through their investigations, police and fire determined that petrol was the cause of the fire and it had been poured through the letterbox. After proving that the fire had started from inside the house, the police placed the Philpotts and Paul Mosley, like the family friend who was there with them that night, under covert surveillance, bugging their hotel room. In the recordings, it was discovered that Mairead had sex with Paul while Mick was in the room and whispered conversations. Despite trying to talk quietly, Mick was heard telling Mairead, quote, "You make sure you stick to your story. They're not going to find any evidence, are they?" Mick asked Mairead, quote, "Was you crying when you were saying it? How bad?" Mairead replied, quote, "Not really, really bad, but I did cry."
This is just fucking
Fucked.
criminal, like proper criminal mastermind. Horrible shit.
On the 16th of May, you might remember this. On the 16th of May, 5 days after the fire, the Philpotts held their own press conference. Mick essentially collapsed when he started talking. Both appeared visibly distressed, but they wanted to thank emergency services and neighbours, saying, quote, "To see this community come together like they have is overwhelming." However, Jimmy, Mairead's dad, said, quote, "To me, it was a show because I couldn't see a tear. I never heard a mention of the children or find out who did this to my children. I don't think there was a tear coming out of Mairead's head either."
Oh my God.
An assistant chief constable, Steve, I don't even know how you pronounce that last name, Cotterill, said that Mick was, quote, "overly excited by the prospect of going to face the media given what had taken place." The conference lasted for around 5 minutes, and after, Steve witnessed Mick ask a family liaison officer to marry him.
Oh my God.
It's just actually unhinged.
It's just like, what's he going to do next? Like,
Yeah.
it's that sort of like that unpredictability of this guy is astounding.
With the hotel recordings being used as evidence and Mick's behaviour at the press conference, the couple were arrested on the 29th of May and were charged with their children's murders.
Yes, I do remember this.
A fund to pay for the children's funerals was set up, and over £11,000 was raised by those living in the same area as the family. And obviously,
God.
people from UK. I can imagine maybe overseas. Because this was like major news.
Yeah, I remember this now.
The children's joint funeral service was on the 22nd of June 2012. Mick and Mairead weren't able to attend as they'd been charged with their murder. On the 5th of November 2012, an unnamed 49-year-old man and 45-year-old Paul Mosley were arrested. During forensic examination, petrol was found on Paul's clothing. The 49-year-old was released without charge and Paul was charged with murder. And in December 2012, Paul received a manslaughter charge. The question remains, why? Why was this fire intentionally set? I've kind of laid it out so we jump to kind of how the police and the public found it rather than being this is the order of events.
Yeah, okay.
So on the 11th of February 2012, Lisa Willis, the mistress, had decided that she'd reached her breaking point with Mick. She'd had enough of her lifestyle and being controlled. Lisa left 18 Victory Road with the 5 children she shared with Mick. Lisa had told Mairead that she was taking her children swimming. Mick then tried to sweet talk Lisa into coming back to the house with the children. As Lisa had taken the children from the house, Mick's government benefit payments had decreased. Mick was furious and wanted revenge. And this is the thing, he kind of sees his children as a means to gain money.
Yeah. They're a monetary gain. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They aren't kids. They're an income.
Yes. Jimmy, Mairead's father, said that, quote, he was constantly on and on about it. We're going to have to do this and we're going to have to do that to get the children back. A plan was forming, and a month before the fire, Mick tried to persuade Lisa to meet up with him, but she refused. In the beginning of May, Mick replied to a Facebook post stating that Lisa had phoned him and was threatening him. Mick called the police and demanded that Lisa would be arrested for the threats. Mick had told friends that he suspected Lisa and her family were threatening to set the Philpott's home on fire, so he's planting the seed.
Yeah.
Mick also blamed Mairead, the woman he's actually married to, claiming that if it wasn't for her, Lisa would have never left. Mick began legal proceedings in aim of getting custody of his and Lisa's children, and a court date was set for the 11th of May, the same day a fire broke out of the Philpott's property. A judge revealed that with the court date set, Mick told people that he had a plan and had something up his sleeve. Mick's goal was to, quote, rescue the children via an external ladder, be the hero of the hour. Mick would then blame Lisa for the fire, gaining custody of their children, and this is all for power. Mick didn't care for his children, as he's shown countless of times. Mick poured petrol onto the floor. Paul was then responsible for removing the containers from the scene. Mick then set the petrol on fire, which was, with it spreading quickly, Mairead called 999.
This is actually terrible.
Yes.
Really, really I don't know. The problem with these things is you lose the words that have the impact. I know I said it in the last episode as well, but I don't know. It's hard to articulate how scummy some people are. Yeah.
And as I was reading that, I thought in absolutely no way is it Lisa's fault and she should not be blamed. But part of you would blame yourself in terms of being if I hadn't have left, then all those children would have lived. And that's she should not have any of that blame, because
sort of survivor's guilt, isn't it?
Yeah, because the one who should have the blame is incapable of feeling that feeling.
So it's wasted on him, yeah.
The one who should feel that blame is the perpetrator.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the fucking mastermind.
Yeah, they won't, because of the very nature of who they are and what they do. They don't care. They don't care.
The criminal trial took place at Nottingham Crown Court and began on the 11th of February 2013, a year to the day that Lisa had left the Philpott's house.
God.
Charges were changed from murder to manslaughter, meaning the prosecution had to prove that the accused didn't intend on killing the children, but were still responsible for their deaths. Their police interviews were played in court. Both Mick and Mairead said that they saw a bright orange light, also hearing a pop, using the exact same terms. The jury was spared, quote, the most harrowing details regarding the removal of the children from the house.
Mm.
The judge, Catherine Thirlwall, who's a bad bitch, described Mick as a, quote, disturbingly dangerous man. Your guiding principle is what Mick Philpott wants, he gets. You have no moral compass. I mean...
Got him in one.
Let's give that woman a round of applause.
She fucking got him.
The judge said that it, quote, became clear during the trial that Mairead was prepared to go to any lengths, however humiliating, to keep him happy. The judge then referred to when Mairead refused to divorce Mick so that he could marry Lisa. And you know what? I'm actually so glad that she brought this up, because I was like, do you know what? Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Quote, when something was important enough to you, you were capable of exercising a choice that was not his choice.
Oh,
So it's like, so you had a choice to say no when, oh my God, I'm really sorry about the cat. You had a choice to say no about getting a divorce so that he can marry Lisa, but you didn't say no when it came to setting a fire to your house, killing your kids, so that
yeah.
Mick could gain custody. Finally, addressing Paul Mosley, Judge Catherine said, quote, you enjoyed the attention you gained from your proximity to the fire. You boasted of being arrested and bailed for 6 counts of murder. I mean, we're just dealing with fucking rock bottom
This is what I'm
trash.
saying.
To even have the mindset / capability to go through with these, and to then be then like, you know what, yeah, I did that.
But this judge has got his fucking number. She's got him down.
Yeah.
He's a hungry boy.
I know, it is actually time to feed him, so, but we're nearly done now. The trial lasted 8 weeks, and all 3 accused were found guilty of manslaughter of the 6 children. On the 4th of April 2013, Mick Philpott received a sentence of life imprisonment, serving a minimum of 15 years.
Oh, I got excited then because I thought you were going to say 50, and I was like, he's changed.
No, like, the justice system is absolute dog shit here.
Yeah, it's not the best.
Mairead and Paul received 17 years, being told that they would have to serve at least half of their sentences, which just pisses me off. Like, if you give them 17 years, then they have to serve 17 years. I know that there's more complicated with it being like, especially now, like overcrowding and like funds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it pisses me off.
No, I get you.
After the trial, a psychologist, Dr. Glenn Wilson, described Mick as a, quote, psychopath, a control freak with antisocial personality disorder.
Fuck.
So, is diagnosed. Not that, I mean, he doesn't
To be honest,
get
I thought
diagnosed.
he'd have a lot more than just them 3. I mean, I guess psychopath sort of encompasses a lot of it.
Yeah.
But some of his behaviour, yeah. I thought he'd have a lot more, to be honest.
A hearing was heard for Paul on the 24th of October, but I don't know what year because there's different reports. And he was released from prison in either May 2021 or possibly 2022. No, 2020. So either May 2021 or 2020 he got out of prison after serving half of his sentence. However, he returned to prison in 2022 after he breached terms of his parole.
Cool.
So,
of course.
Scumbag. In October 2020, it was reported that Mairead Philpott was set to be released after serving 7 years of her 17-year sentence. So she's out. Which, I mean, I know, like, it is. I mean, the judge was right when she said, like, you exercised the choice about, like, the marriage, but then when it came to this, you were like, well, but, like, it is hard because obviously it's a lot deeper than that, like, how people can be manipulated into doing
I was going to
things.
say, yeah, it's more of like the coercive control, and like he was in her head. She shouldn't have done what she did, absolutely. God, no. But like, it's a harder one for her because she's not like an outright criminal. Like in terms of like how he was, you know?
No, like she's not like the mastermind, like the one like coming up with all the ideas and the plans. However, she is an accomplice. But then even then, like when people are accomplices, it don't mean that they're fully willing to go through with it.
But then it's also tricky because, like you say, what the judge has said to her as well. No,
I
I don't know.
know
I
it's
think
hard.
it's a bigger issue, that one, I think, to tackle, to be honest, in terms of like where you lie on Mairead's actions in it. Obviously, when I say actions, I don't mean like, what's your opinion on her helping with the fire? Obviously, no one agrees with that bit, you know.
Yeah.
But it's more about the thought process of why she did that, and then why she spoke up about the marriage and not this. I don't know. I feel like that's a trickier issue.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot deeper than surface level.
It's not black and white.
Yeah. And then finally, Mick Philpott remains in prison. I haven't seen anything about him being released. And thank God, because like I feel like people like him, with a track record that he has, it's like he's not going to come out and be like,
He's not going to be reformed. He's not going to be different.
no, because you did the fire in 2012 and you attempted to kill Kim Hill in 1978. So it comes to a point where we do realize that this, and I mean, also him being diagnosed with a personality disorder, like that is just sadly who you are.
Yeah, like this, like I said earlier, like he doesn't switch us on. It just is him.
Yes.
It's just in his nature, in his bones. That's who he is.
And it's then like obviously I understand it's like money and all that irritating shit to keep him in prison, but then I would rather somehow pay more money to keep him in than have him come out, people not
Yeah,
know who he
absolutely.
is, and then risk getting into like an abusive relationship with him, or him fucking headbutting someone, or like.
This is what I'm saying. Again, like the unpredictability of him. You don't know what he's actually going to do.
Yeah.
So, like you said, I'd rather just pay more to keep him in. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. So that's the Mick Philpott, the absolute fucking #1 tramp.
Yeah, no, it really did just sort of like develop and just get worse.
Yeah.
What a fucking tragedy though for the kids, and that's.
I know. But then, like it like what I think it was Jamie, like the neighbor said, like thank God they weren't like screaming, because that would have. I mean, it's horrendous, obviously as it is, but like it's just like a whole new level of horrific.
It's another, yeah, it adds a level to absolutely.
Oh my God! Clearly, I have to feed the cat because fuck my life.
Yeah, bit of a longer one this time.
Yeah, that was 50 minutos.
Well, maybe a bit less with all edits and shit, but yeah.
Yeah. At least we're like still on the same like average time, and that one I had like longer research. That one took me probably about 6 hours to research.
Christ.
I know it is long. And I know that like there's a podcast that I listen to, and I know that they just like copy like quotes and like whatever from articles, and then they put it into ChatGPT and get it to rewrite it all, and I'm like, oh, I can't do that.
Yeah, nah, man, absolutely not. No, go straight from the source, jot your notes down in there, and then vocalize.
Yeah. Like I feel no, I just don't really feel like that's. I mean, if that's how you want to do it, then just go float your boat. But it's not really for me.
No, I don't like that.
I'm unsure of what one we're gonna do next. To be honest, I mean, it's not like I haven't got many more to choose from, but
Yeah, man. Like, obviously, I've got no say. I just come here to listen and talk. So, but it's been a good first two. I'm intrigued by what's to come.
it's gonna be a journey.
It's interesting and it's horrifying.
Yeah, I do find it interesting in terms of like how people mindsets are, and then their actions coming off that, and how they're just like
It's fascinating. The brain, if you break the brain down, how it works and what it does, not just like it moves us, like we can use it to move our bodies, but like the intricacies of just, I don't even know how to articulate it. It's such a massive thing.
I know.
The brain is just it's a daunting and terrifying and incredible thing, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
A whole enigma.
The whole gamut.
The whole gamut.
This bad bitch won't blab.
Right.
I want to rewatch that.
I have, and it's good. I watched it again the other week.
Yeah, I want to. Have you watched that Fond Farewell?
Not yet. No, I'm waiting to watch it.
We had it on like yesterday for like 2 minutes before we had to go out and look for the cat, but I
It's
hope
meant to be
people
good.
don't think I'm neglecting him. I am going to feed him, just not right this second.
Let's wrap this bitch up now then.
Let's wrap this bad bitch won't blab up.
Let's do it.
Okay, what did we say then?
Thank you for listening. Thank you again for joining in for episode 2 of Choosing the Bear. I mean, if you manage to stay all the way, sick.
GGFN. Bye bye bye.